And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to Gem in the Crypto episode 1151. Today is Friday, September 29th, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto most days, Monday through Friday at 10ish. And today's top stories: SEC delays spot Bitcoin ETF decision for BlackRock, Invesco, and Bitwise. 5 lowlights of Gary Gensler's evasive testimony before Congress. New U.S. bill to require firms to report off-chain transactions to CFTC. Ben Armstrong charges revealed, could face fines or prison if convicted. And the metaverse is real. Zuck's incredible photorealistic tech wows crypto Twitter. But first and foremost, of course, got to take a look at these prices, see what's been going on through the week. For the most part, it does look like we still have that sideways movement, but I do see we are creeping closer and closer toward that strong $27,000 Bitcoin price point. So, like many of you, I hope we actually reach it and stand strong there, if not increase. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these prices. All right, Bitcoin is coming in at $26,783, up 0.76%. Ethereum's at $1,664, up 2.16%. Number 5 is Ripple at 52 cent, up 5.29%. Number 9 is Solana at $20, up 4.35%. And number 10 is Tron at 8 cent, up 3.55%. Trending tokens are, of course, Bitcoin up 1.12%, Taboo token and Pepe coin actually up 8.15%. And the Fear and Greed index is at 42, so it actually bounced back up a few points from the beginning of this week. Bitcoin dominance at 48.8% and Ethereum dominance at 18.7%. So there you go. Those are the prices on the day. And of course, I'm about to put the link in the chat. Today is Fuck Bitcoin Friday. If you have a token you want to shill, if we've been getting some things wrong, any issues, go ahead and call in and let me know. Let's see, what do we have here? What's going on? BK Crypto, Patrick Walter, No Cap, KW1, Zyro. No Cap says, let's talk about these gas prices out here in Cali. Man, listen, California gas prices are crazy, especially Southern California. I know. Man, I just got done paying like $6.70 at the pump yesterday, so I understand. 64 ECG, Les Square, New Jersey. And how Junior Maley was going on. Humney Developer. What's up? Yes, more updates for you, Les. Actually, I'm thinking probably going to be another. It was supposed to be some updates this week. Give me like another week or so. But yes, definitely will have some for you. Let's see. Hyben said, made my first withdrawal from Lolly. There we go. $15 USD for free. Use that on some lunch. And again, at the top of the chat is the live stream link. So feel free to call in if you got anything you want to get off your chest. Feel free to make that call. All right, top story of the day. Let's get into it. There's actually some great stories in the news this week. Toward the end of the week, a lot of things were happening, but we're going to go ahead and explore them all today. Of course, first and foremost, we kind of expected this one. SEC delays spot Bitcoin ETF decision for BlackRock, Invesco, and Bitwise. Invesco, Bitwise, and Valkyr were also hit with delays by the U.S. SEC. I mean, essentially everyone who was in line for that decision to come this month. Again, we all kind of knew that was going to happen. If I remember correctly, they're making these decisions and reviewing processes every 3 months. So with September, October, November, December, actually longer than that, January, February, because I think the next time is going to be February. So let's say almost 5 months for this next one. I think the next one doesn't come until February or March. If that is the case, was it 180 days? Maybe it's 180 actually days, so it'll be 6 months. But if that's the case, that was going to line right up the next happening. I think that's what they were planning for, not releasing a decision until the happening actually commences or until afterwards. This lines up to that. It gives them more time to kind of plan. And again, this is something they don't want to happen right now because it's going to lead more people possibly to crypto. That's the last thing the SEC wants. So again, we're looking at the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. They've delayed their decision on several proposals for spot Bitcoin ETFs, exchange traded funds, including BlackRock, ahead of anticipated government shutdown. The spot Bitcoin ETF applications of Invesco, Bitwise, and Valkyr, of course, as I mentioned, were also delayed by the SEC, according to a separate September 28th filings, while Bloomberg ETF analyst James Seifert is expecting the applications for Fidelity, Van Eck, and WisdomTree to also be pushed back by the securities regulator. Yeah, if you push back BlackRock, again, the only one out that group would be Fidelity. You actually, that I would say have the closest plug to get it done. But if BlackRock was denied, then you're more likely going to deny Fidelity and the rest of them as well. So again, this is 3 of the 7 down, or I think 4 of the 7 actually as well, that are actually down, that will not again happen right now, but we'll be looking at this again another 3 to 6 months. These review processes, a lot of things are happening in between, which is actually the next story which we'll be covering. Gary Gensler is actually under fire right now. Like, goodness gracious, thank you to the American government. They're tired of Gary Gensler messing with their money as well. And yeah, I mean, they're definitely in his shit. So with that being said, depending on how hard the government actually comes down on him, he could change his tune and actually pass some ETFs as it happening actually commences. So who knows? But right now, that delay has continued on, and it looks like it will continue on today. We'll see. And if the government down over the weekend, then you already know you won't be getting decisions for anyone here in the short term future as well. I think I just saw a good comment. Let me see. Les said, do I think that Bitcoin will go down to 21,000 before the next halving? Yes. I mean, I still think there's room. We have the holidays coming up and then the first quarter. There's still room for one of these events to have, like with the Black Swan event, to happen, to where the government gets to tinkering on stuff and trying to manipulate things, or even a private company. I think we still do have room for that, but yes, the chances of it happening are increasingly becoming smaller and smaller daily. And even with that, possibility, at this point, I'm saying again, it will be a Black Swan event more or less than it's just a natural progression of going down. It's been maintaining this sideways movement. When it gets cut in half, supply and demand, those metrics are going to kick in. So I don't really see it dipping, like drastic dips, unless something bad happens. So right now, again, Black Swan event the next 5 months, strong possibility we can get one. But if not, you better be dollar cost averaging. On the flip side, though, even if it doesn't dip down to 21,000, how long will we be going sideways at 30, 35,000 is the real question as well. So remains to be seen. All right, I couldn't wait to get to this story. It made my teeth white today. The 5 lowlights of Gary Gensler's evasive testimony before Congress. Ooh, lowlights. Who doesn't like some lowlights? Shacking a fool. What's this? What's the political version of shacking a fool? I don't know. We got to figure it out. Who will be shacking a fool? Oh, we can use what's his name? Man, Mr. Wonderful. There we go. Mr. Wonderful. We got to do something with him when it comes to Shaqtin' a Fool. He can be like the host of that one. The U.S. SEC chief was asked whether the purchase of Pokemon trading cards is a security transaction and whether Bitcoin is a commodity. Thank you. Hand clap. That's all we're asking for, is common sense at these testimonies. You want to say first, years ago, this stuff is fake, it isn't real. We're talking about crypto and Bitcoin. Then you want to say it's only for criminals and fraudsters out there and like evil people. And then you want to say, hey, we need to regulate and control it. Whoa, is it fake? Is it for bad people? Is it morally wrong? Or do you need to control it, right? And if that's the case, when it comes to all these other cryptocurrencies, as I mentioned on this show at this point, literally hundreds of times before, like, all right, if I start giving people or telling people the only way they can do business with me is marbles, do marbles enter a regulatory market? Are they now a commodity? Are they now a security? Same thing, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh trading cards. Like, that's actually worth something to somebody. Does that become a security overnight because it's worth something? How does it work? If someone takes a picture of me and all of a sudden it's worth millions of dollars and pictures of me become millions of dollars worth, are they all considered securities now? How does this work? What do we decide security? Is it a number behind it? I'm pretty sure it is. I know the deal. Basically, if the government wants to taste, this is security. But I'm glad they're asking these real questions. None of this BS going around in circles. Ask him the real questions. All right, if we're going to play like this based off of what you said, then Pokemon cards will also fall into that. And he's looking real stupid as well. So again, shout out to our government for finally doing these government things. Hey, the government even realized it. Listen, money slowing down. Americans getting pissed off. Hey, look, we don't got no more mean tweets. You all got what you want. No one says anything mean in the government anymore. We just don't have our money, right? Ukraine has it. The American government has it, but there aren't any mean tweets. There aren't any mean comments. We're in the clear, folks. I love it. I love it. But no, my point is you see essentially what happens when the government needs to pin that on somebody, get somebody up out of here. I think Gary Gensler is about to be in line for that fall, for that knife, where it's like, look, gas is high, people are pissed, things are going on, government shutdowns happening, and you're not letting people get crypto money, bro. I think that's really what the government wants to say to them. Like, look, like this is the one thing we can let the American people have and keep them happy and like have them have a alternate way of paying for this $7 a gallon gas without them being pissed at us. And you want to take that too for banks, not even for the American government, but for private companies. Thank you for waking up Uncle Sam and saying, hold on. These private companies supposed to be paying me too. No one is supposed to be sliding, including them. Uncle Sam has had enough. He's saying, hey, you're pissing off too many people about something that we're not even regulating yet. We don't have any guidance on. We're not even overruling yet. Let it go. And if you don't let it go, we are officially on your ass. I think this was that testimony right there where they're letting him know, hey, this ain't gonna go how it's been going, Gary. Gary going there, hey, Bob, hey, Tim, what's going on? How's the wife? And Bob and Tim is like, hello, Mr. Gensler. We're actually not going to be talking about personal relationships today. We're here to discuss. And he like, whoa, Bob, Tim, what is this, man? It's me. I was just at the house a few months ago. Hey, we can't and won't comment on any type of meetings that may have happened informally in the past. Right now, we're here to figure out what's happening in the present and what we're going to do in the future. All right. And again, I would respect if you call me by my last name and my position, Mr. Gensler, and we're going to respect you the same way. Hey, they about to change the game on Gary. He thought they was the homies. He pulled up. Hey, let's go get them. And they was all sitting on the porch staring down the back like, hey, we can't do nothing for you over here, brother. All right. He is on his own officially. I love to see it. Now it's time to see how strong he actually is. Can you and the bank stand up to Uncle Sam, Gary? We're about to find out. And I think this might be one of the most interesting stories of crypto here in the next 6 months to a year to see what happens with Gary Gensler. Blame for quote unquote kneecapping capital markets. I love that too, by the way. Shout out to the government. Hey, gangsters know the words to use. Gangsters is calling it kneecapping. Kneecapping, didn't that come from the mafia days? You're not paying people up and all of a sudden you can't walk. I love it. Blame for kneecapping capital markets in the United States and slam for dodging questions around Bitcoin and Pokemon cards. Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler appears to have had one hell of a grilling from Congress this week. Thank you. And again, back to what I said. If I had any type of charge in this country, I'm gonna go ahead. I gotta minimize this. If I had any type of charge as a public servant, especially at that level, we're talking chairmen, spokespersons, like the presidents, sitting CEOs, Federal Reserve. I don't know how they do it. Boards, advisors, anyone at these high levels that receive any amount of taxpayer dollars. If you do not answer a public question, especially from a senator in Congress, like, okay, fine, you're dipping and dodging King and the rest of us peasants out there, right? Fine, we get it. You don't have to answer to the average American. But if you're not answering the Senate and Congress as well, to me, you should be fired on the spot and you should be investigated criminally and civilly immediately. There is no, you don't get to be the securities regulator of the United States, essentially enforcing securities across the planet. You remember they're pulling people from different countries. Like they will literally kidnap you from a different country to say you didn't follow our law in this region. Do you all understand how fucking ridiculous? What if the Taliban had the ability? I just saw a shout out to Guy Ritchie, The Covenant. I saw that movie last night. People, hey, I got to tear my. It got me all motivated. What if the Taliban was allowed to say you broke our laws and just start plucking people out of America and Canada and fucking Texas and New York and California? Hey, what? Y'all out here doing what in California? Oh, hell no. We're going to send you to Afghanistan. Taliban wants to talk to you. They saying what you're doing is legal. This is what the United States is doing with the securities thing right now. That is absolutely insane when you say it out loud. It's absolutely insane. So this is what the U.S. SEC has been doing globally. And for the most part, they've been allowed to do it by Uncle Sam, the U.S. government. All I'm saying is fine. If you're going to have that type of power to where you can kidnap people around the globe and imprison them and turn them into your slave, right? Fine. Can you at least answer a fucking question? Good. Like, you can't even answer a question. You have all this power. You literally have the power to pluck someone from a different country and imprison them for the rest of their lives. And you can't answer a question back to the people who pay the bill. Wow. Wow. Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam, I didn't know you was a hoe. All right. Listen, let me know, Uncle Sam. Keep doing what you're doing with this boy right now. All right. So again, back to these low lights and this kneecapping. On September 27th, the U.S. SEC chief again found himself in front of lawmakers in a scheduled hearing to discuss his agency's oversight of the markets. And this is the problem now. I mean, I'm all for ownership in American government. We do that in the military, but I think we need to give him less ownership. We need to stop saying things like your agency and start saying things like the American People's Agency, the government's agency. This isn't Gary Gensler's personal little Mr. Burns. See, here, to be honest, here's the real difference between Mr. Burns and Gary Gensler. That was Mr. Burns' company. That was actually something he built or was given to him, whatever, from the ground up. Mr. Burns on The Simpsons owned that company. Gary Gensler doesn't actually own the SEC. He's a public servant. He needs to start acting like it. Remember. And then I say all that to say, to be fair, Gary Gensler might actually be acting like a public servant. I know they're like, what do you mean? Because he does serve the banks. I keep forgetting those are American people too. He serves the bank. So to be fair, he may actually be a good American public servant because he is serving some of the American public, just not the public we want him to represent, which is the majority. But go ahead and bring this back up again. I want to go ahead and go over this. Let's see. You are the Tanya Harding of securities regulations. He was once told one of the more colorful analogies came from U.S. Representative Andy Barr, who accused Gensler of kneecapping the U.S. capital markets with regulatory red tape. Barr referred to an old testimony from Gensler, where Gensler argued that the U.S. is the largest, most sophisticated, and innovative capital market in the world, and that it shouldn't be taken for granted as even, quote, gold medalists must keep training, unquote. With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, if the U.S. capital markets are a gold medalist, you are the Tanya Harding of securities regulations, said Barr. Hilarious. You are kneecapping the U.S. capital markets with your avalanche of red tape coming out your commission. Barr is presumably referring to a scandal where U.S. ice skater Tonya Harding hired an assailant to attack her rival, Nancy Kerrigan, in the lead up to the 1994 United States Figure Skating Championships and Winter Olympics. Kerrigan ended up not competing in the U.S. Championships. Really quick, that was back when the Olympics meant something, right? Back in those 90s and 80s, you're talking about stopping missiles from hitting other parts of the world if you can win an Olympic game, right? And on the flip side, if you lose some Olympics, hey, Stalin and Hitler wasn't playing with them athletes who was losing Olympics and coming back home. That's when the Olympics were lit, people. All types of stuff was going on. Everybody was showing up. It's not like it is now. I was just watching some X Games the other day. I mean, not the Olympics, but still, I was watching some X Games. Skateboarders, I mean, the first wave, the first run, they were wiping out. I was like, what's going on? This isn't how I used to remember. You're supposed to build these points up and go hard the last way. What's happening right now? All right, Mr. Barr to Gensler. Here's the actual video of him saying that. This is on X.
Mr. Chairman, I really liked your colorful testimony. And you're right, we are blessed with the largest, most sophisticated, most innovative capital markets in the world. But we cannot take this for granted. Even a gold medalist must keep training. With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, if the U.S. capital markets are a gold medalist, you are the Tanya Harding of securities regulation because you are kneecapping the U.S. capital markets with the avalanche of red tape coming out of your commission on your climate.
Woo! There we go. Hey, right there, that is Uncle Sam's fair weather warning. Hey, we are literally telling you what you're doing wrong now. You have a chance to course correct. And to be clear, hey, the United States are gangsters. Shout out to Gary Gensler. He is a part of the gang. He is the United States. He's one of the biggest bosses here. You think Gary Gensler is so gangster? He just had a bad testimony or a grilling from Congress yesterday, and he woke up in the morning and said, ain't none of y'all getting your ETFs. That, you see how that worked? Invesco, Fidelity, BlackRock. Who else we had on there? All these people who are billionaires, who got plugs to the government, y'all not going to use y'all resources to help old Gary out no more? At BlackRock, all I did for you 256 and 2 on ETF applications, and you're not going to use your resources to help old Uncle Gary out? And Fidelity, what about you over there? Hey, what? Gary woke up this morning like, fuck the world. I don't want to have sex with my wife. I don't want to kiss my kids goodbye. I want to go into that office super early, and I want to make sure no ETFs is getting handed down. No nada is happening in the crypto space. You mother is going to do this to me? I'm going to put cases on everybody. It's going to be security regulations coming out of the United States from here to 2024. Motherfucking Pelican Bay, all that, all right? Listen, Gary Gensler woke up with violence on his mind. Y'all going to embarrass me in the gang? Y'all going to do me like this? All these security violations I done did across the world for Uncle Sam, and you do this shit to me? Oh, man, it just got real with Gary. Listen, I tell you what, I don't know no gang leaders, especially no seasoned ones like Gary, who go down without a fight. All right, you looking at a seasoned boss. It's what we're going, and that's my Black Swan event where we're talking about price point. Like, let me wrap this back around to Bitcoin's price point and the market's price point. And shout out to actually, was it Tim Draper? I saw a comment from Tim Draper in the news recently saying, "Hey, my $250,000 price point for Bitcoin was off because of the United States government." Like, he literally said his guess of the Bitcoin price point was off because of the U.S. government. I actually believe that as well. Again, I thought the adoption would happen a lot sooner, but the government definitely has helped slow that down, as well as some private companies out there like the Federal Reserve and banks. But I say that because you all are crazy. If you think a powerful figure like Gary Gensler, who's already shown his disregard for the community and kind of shown that he really works with banks, you are crazy to think if he's just about to get out of that chair without a fight and nothing else is going to happen. That's the Black Swan event. I'm thinking that the SEC will do some wild, crazy stuff, or one of the other ancillary agencies will do it for them. And once that happens, we might see the market get a little scared. We might see the fear and greed index go even lower, right? People get super scared and shaken out of the market, and that price point could reflect that as well. So those are kind of my thoughts with it. Like, people, this is a gang boss. All right. I want to keep reiterating that. This is a real life gang boss you're looking at. He's not going down without a fight. It is not going down. And right now, I'm not like, if I were in his shoes, again, that little act now, I'm serious. It's like BlackRock, Fidelity, Wisdom Tree, Bitwise, like all those companies and names, you all have inroads to the government, to regulators, to politicians, to lobbyists, to voters, to all this stuff. And clearly they're not helping Gary with those inroads. So if anything, they're putting a battery in Uncle Sam's back to say, hey, this ain't what we agreed upon. Get this man out of here and get our new man or woman in there. So it looks like that infighting is happening. This is another one. Woo, this was crazy. Representative Warren Davidson, shout out to him. He's been in the news being pro-crypto essentially, has ripped into Gensler saying he hoped that the Biden administration would fire him. I wish the Biden administration would say, "You're fired," said Davidson. Davidson accused Gensler of pushing a woke political and social agenda and abuse as the SEC's chair. Hilarious. Let's take a peek.
You know, frankly, your time as chairman has highlighted two problems: a Gary Gensler problem and a structural flaw in the SEC. And as I told you,
Woo, thank you. Well, I've never actually seen him. You know what? I keep saying this. I'm gonna call Warren Davidson's office because I can get behind him on this one. A structural flaw in the SEC. Thank you. This is way bigger than the Gary Gensler issue. He represents the gang. This is the Chicago faction. Excuse me. I've been watching Power Book Force 2 or whatever. That was actually a good show right now. Shout out to the 50 Cent and Power Force. I wasn't sure if the spinoffs were doing any good, but that's a good one. So listen, Gary Gensler is just the Chicago faction. He's the Detroit wing of the gang, right? Like this is what he does. This is the securities. He's the securities wing, the arm of the United States government. That's all it is. But there is a bigger problem, and that's the SEC in general to even have this type of power. And so I agree with that.
I told you in April, I proposed a solution called the SEC Stabilization Act.
Woo! Wait, we got acts for the SEC. I love it. Listen, this is That's what I'm talking about. This is the stuff that makes me excited. This is stuff that makes. This is why I got a political science degree. That's one of my degrees. People is poli-sci. This is what I love. Gary Gensler and everybody else. For like, this is the cause and the effect. I love it. I love it. The movie about crypto would be great. People, you wanted to fuck with people's crypto and the market in general, literally for a small group of humans who are bankers and other global elitists. Because you start tinkering at this, now the actual government is saying we need to tinker with your entire department. We need, hey, you want laws for crypto? We need a law for your department. For everything you're doing over there, we need to rewrite what you're doing. That is what I'm talking about. You didn't done. See, in the military, you learn this right here. Stay in the middle of the pack. Don't get to the front. Don't get to the back. Because on both sides, in front and back, you shine a bright light on yourself, and you do not want a bright light shine on you while you're in the military. You want to stay in the middle of the pack. You want to blend in. And that's actually why you're deployed too. You want to blend in. You don't want to stand out. That's how you die. So I think Gary Gensler made the unfortunate mistake of standing out too much. CFTC has been making moves too, but they're not standing out. NFA, National Futures Association, they've been making hella plays. They're not standing out. They're making small enough plays where they do a little something as soon as they hit that news story. Remember, we saw CFTC in the news a few weeks ago. We ain't seen them since. I think they might have had an article pop up today, but for the most part, actually, yeah, we will be covering the article today. But this is the next big thing. This is the last big thing we heard about from the CFTC, and I'm pretty sure we won't hear nothing from them again for about 9 or 10 or 15 more weeks because they keep popping up, doing stuff and disappearing. The SEC is doing things and doubling down on it. Like, yeah, we out here, we did it. We did all that madness over there. That was us. Who asking? That's what they're doing. The CFTC is saying, oh, we don't know who did it. And they're going back into the darkness. But let me finish it. I want to hear it. This is amazing.
You're making the case for this bill easier every day.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're making the SEC. And as I told you in April, I've proposed a solution called the SEC Stabilization Act. You're making the case for this bill easier every day you are acting as the chairman by doing rulemaking after rulemaking without any regard to the impact of these rules, or maybe that's the feature for you, I don't know. But it's having a massive impact on our markets. I mean, we have markets that truly are the envy of the world, and why would you disrupt them with processes that are driving capital out of our markets? Not because to avoid our laws, but to find some place where they can get clarity, where they can work with a regulator and get a decision and a path forward. So instead of selectively applied, you're not providing clarity with a rule that's evenly applied. You're intentionally shortening comment periods to limit feedback.
That's the stuff to me that becomes criminal, people. You're a United States regulator. We're preaching democracy, and you're shorting the commenting periods. Remember, we spoke about that. I think it was last year or something when I was like, oh, I would love to go to town hall meeting in DC about crypto. How come I didn't hear about it? It was one of the things where they just put it, like they damn near put it up 3 hours before. Oh, yeah, we're going to have a meeting tonight, y'all. Hey, if you ain't in DC and you can't make it in 3 hours, sorry for you. And then it's like, well, really? And they're like, oh, by the way, the voting closes tomorrow if you ain't at the meeting tonight. And it's like, all right, like, we get it. We see what you're doing here. So I'm glad he's bringing that up. That is a real issue. It's absolutely insane. And again, going back to my military days, military contracts, they do that on military contracts. They'll open one up publicly where they already know the company that's going to sign on to that contract, and they'll literally have everything that's needed for the due diligence. At the moment the contract opens, is like, how the hell do you have all the due diligence and like the paperwork you need for this new project in 5 minutes? This is like budgeting and a multi-million-dollar project, and you have all the paperwork as soon as the portal opens. So essentially, this is the same thing to me. It's a way to cheat, but whatever. It is what it is.
And the courts have even called this arbitrary and capricious. You're pushing a woke political and social agenda, and I think abusing your role in the authority of the SEC as cover. So, I think fundamentally, the SEC Stabilization Act would remove the role of chairman.
Woo!
It would preserve the current commissioners, but it would add a sixth commissioner. So there would be no more than 3 from any one political party. And so that would provide a path that would make the SEC do what you're avoiding. Frankly, you're front-running Congress, you're front-running the courts, you're front-running even the own administration, and no one has held you to account for that. I mean, I wish the Biden administration would say you're fired. but the list of folks they need to do that for is long. Congress hopefully will with the SEC Stabilization Act. I yield.
Woo! Oh, they're trying to fight. We're coming for your job, my boy. Oh, we're coming from your job, my boy. Listen, here's the good and bad about this. The bad is that we're literally going to waste taxpayer money no matter how this goes. And the reason why is because, like, I mean, listen, shout out to Gary Gensler. If I had my own gang, I would want him to do what he's doing in the gang too. He is doing what he needs to for these banks and these bigger like Ethereum basically. I was gonna say bigger private crypto company Ethereum. He's doing what he needs to do for banks and Ethereum, right? Like, and here's the deal: since he's holding up his end of the bargain, the worst case that's going to happen is this act gets passed, they fire him, and then he literally the next day, like it's going to be people because he's going. You gotta remember, Gary Gensler, like he's being the butt of jokes. He's gonna get disrespectful right back. I keep trying to tell you. I wouldn't doubt if he resigns or get fired, and literally the next day or within a week or month, he's already at the new crypto company or at the bank. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he did it within the same day or 24 hours. Really, just to put a thumb in it, like to really make a ha ha and a joke of it. I would not be surprised if 24 hours after he was fired or whatever, he was working for a bank or a crypto project that was paying him millions of dollars a year. Literally just to thumb the government to say, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm telling you, listen, this guy's a fucking dirtbag, people. He needs to be under the jail. All right. Let's make sure we're clear about this. He's a criminal warlord out here in the US. We thought we could trust him. We put him in play, and he decided to take our resources and go far high and far right and do his own thing. I think he's trying to start his own game, but under our resources. I don't know how that works. All right. We need to get after him. I like this. Yeah, I really do like that they came at him like that. Gary Gensler also reiterated Bitcoin wasn't security. He said does not meet the Howey test again. The Howey test is from like the 40s. I'm mad that we're even going up 1940s, by the way, which is the law of the land. Gensler said implying that Bitcoin is security. McHenry then suggested Bitcoin must be a commodity, which Gensler avoided answering, saying the test for that is outside the scope of U.S. security laws. That's what I'm telling you, people. Like, this is crazy. He said doesn't meet the Howey test is not security. He said was it a commodity? The guy said, no, I don't know.
Your view on Bitcoin, you've made.
Oh, okay, great point. The Bitcoin therapist, they on this thread, they comment saying Gary Gensler says that Bitcoin is not a security, but he refuses to say it's a commodity. He's run out of time. When a powerhouse like BlackRock asks for an ETF, a Bitcoin ETF, you must deliver. Hey, shout out to a Bitcoin therapist. I see where they're coming from. They're saying, what I said just a few minutes ago, I was like, hey, it looks like BlackRock and Fidelity and all these people looks like they sided with Uncle Sam on this one. And Uncle Sam was like, so I guess that Gensler's just with the banks. Wow, this is heating up. This is heating up. Imagine how many conversations and things we aren't privy to on the back end that's happening right now as well. That's what really makes this crazy. Let's check this out.
Make comments on this. You believe Bitcoin is not a security. Is that true?
Well, I think the staff of the SEC have also, and the prior
Well,
chair.
I'm just asking you this question.
Thank you. Like, you're asking the chairman of the SEC again, the person who has the power and privilege to pluck any individual out of their home country and imprison them in the United States. A person allowed, let's make sure, like, people say this shit like it's like I had this little acting talk. Some of you might have saw it. It came out on YouTube already recently, where it's like, are you pro-choice or pro-abortion or whatever? And essentially, my thing for the pro, like, or was it pro-choice or pro? What is it? You have to have abortions or you don't. Whatever you have a choice or you don't have a choice, right? And the whole thing with me was just like, what do you want next after you make these people do what you want? Like, for the people who are not pro-choice, it's like, fine, you get what you want. People are not allowed to have abortions. It's like, what do you want next? Because essentially, we're gonna do what you say. It sounds like the whole world, right? Like, that's my thing here. The United States SEC. Let me make this clear. Off of money. Let's be clear. If I traded Pokemon cards to someone in a different country, and the U.S. said that yes, those Pokemon cards are actual securities, King, and the person you're trading to, him and you are breaking securities laws, and we're arresting both of you, they would literally kidnap us both because I don't want to go. So I'm getting kidnapped and we're getting in prison and turned into slaves in prison. Like, that's real. Whether you're white, black, whatever, that's what the SEC is doing. You have that type of power, and instead of taking ownership, you say, well, there's other people who works for me that, whoa, I thought you the chairman. Are you not in charge? And again, shout out to, who is this? Which one is this? McHenry? Shout out to Financial Services Chair Patrick McHenry for staying on him and not allowing him to push this upon his subordinates, for him saying, no, we're not asking about the people who work for you, work with you. You're the chairman. We're asking you. So shout out to him for staying on that.
The SEC have also, and the prior
Well,
chair.
I'm just asking you this question, and this is not a gotcha. I thought there's going to be an easy softball into harder questions. Do you think Bitcoin is a security?
I think I've said this in the past, that I think that it doesn't
I'm asking
meet
you
the
to
Howey
answer
test.
my question now. This is not supposed to be hard.
Thank you. Like,
I know, I said it
Just
does
answer-
not meet the Howey test, which is the
Okay.
law of the land about being an
So
investment
it doesn't meet the
contract or
Howey test.
security.
So therefore,
and
it's-
again, really quick, shout out to Gary Gensler. Hey, I respect real gangsters, people. It is what it is. Does he look shaken to you all at all? Is he stuttering? I mean, he has a couple times in the past, but right now, hey, whoever's backing him gave him a great pregame speech. He's in there right now, not sweating, not shaking. I think he's thinking, I can't wait for this to be over so I can start working for Chase for $20 million a year. That's my thought.
it's a commodity. Is that fair?
I would say it's not a security, and then the test is otherwise for other
Okay.
laws.
Wow, this is the chairman of the SEC. Doesn't have to answer questions, people. Let's keep going.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Gensler, good morning. I worry that the term investment contract has become so infinitely malleable and manipulable that it means whatever you unilaterally thinks it ought to mean, right? I worry that when it comes to crypto, your interpretation of the term investment contract has no limiting principle and therefore could invite arbitrary and capricious enforcement action. So I want to take a few minutes to explore the concept of investment contract in greater depth. And I want to start with an obvious definitional question. We know that an investment contract requires an investment. Does an investment contract require a contract?
You know, something about this definition, I will quote Thurgood Marshall, Congress painted with a broad brush.
Hey, shout out to Thurgood Marshall. You all don't know him. You need to look him up. One of the first Supreme Court justices out there of African American descent. Shout out Thurgood Marshall.
And when Marshall said that, he was writing the law of the land. So we follow this Howey test and how not just Marshall, but other courts interpreted it. And it has a four components.
I did not go to MIT, but
There we
in the
go.
Bronx,
This is what I'm talking about. Keep it simple. They're going to try to confuse you. Shout out to Representative Richie Torres. They're going to try to confuse you. I like how he smiled. Don't you try to confuse me with this big talk. I just represent the people, brother. I need to know a simple question. Do we need contracts for securities?
if I ask whether an investment contract is a contract, the answer is typically no. So
Actually, sir, under the Supreme Court law,
And he still couldn't do a yes or no. Instead, he just, people, they taught me how to do this in the military. I'm trying to tell you, it is hilarious. Gary Gensler is well prepared for this. Look, he got 3 waters. He got 3 waters. I ain't gonna make me nervous this time.
the land, they do not write that in. They say it's
2
a
waters.
investment of money in a common enterprise, and you're anticipating profits based on the efforts of others. So I took an oath to follow the law of the land, and that's the Supreme Court law of the land.
So in Howey, the Supreme Court refers to an investment contract as a contract, scheme, or transaction. That was the terminology that I saw in the case. And as far as I can tell, there's nothing in the Supreme Court's jurisprudence that suggests that a scheme or transaction means the absence of a contract. And so by way of illustration, consider the landmark case of SEC versus Howey. In the Howey case, there was not a single contract, but there were 2 contracts. A land sales contract with the Howey Company and a service contract with Howey in the Hills. And the court found that the combination of those 2 contracts, the total scheme, the total transaction, the total economic reality, was constitutive of an investment contract. And so a scheme or a transaction does not mean the absence of any contract at all. It means, as it did in Howey, a multiplicity of contracts. In August, there were 6 law professors from law schools as preeminent as Yale who came to the following conclusion, quote, "No decision of the Supreme Court has ever found that a scheme that does not involve a contract could qualify as an investment contract." And so do you disagree with that statement? And if so, could you please cite a decision of the Supreme Court that has found an investment contract in the absence of an actual contract?
Woo! Investment contract in the absence of an actual
The
contract.
SEC has been in front of multiple courts, and investment contract has been.
What's the name of the case, Mr. Gensler? The
Ah,
Supreme Court
get 'em.
case that has found
Get 'em.
an investment contract in the absence of an actual contract. Do you have the name? Can you cite a case?
The SEC over the decades, whether it's
Can you cite a case?
chinchillas,
That's a no.
whether it's whiskey
That's
caskets,
thank you.
whether
There
it's
you go, Torres. Don't even listen to it. Hey, that's a no. If you, that's what I'm talking about. This is how it should be. Honestly, they should just fire him right now. Like, you can't answer a yes or no question about a simple case. This is factual, people. This isn't him making up stuff. Is there a Supreme Court case for what you're arguing, Gary Gensler? You're using taxpayer money. Is there a case to back you? Yes or no? If the answer is no, get the funk about my face. People, it's crazy. Hey, shout out Memories when Mike said start a new job. So it looks like gonna be able to catch the lives again. There we go. Satoshi Slim said, dude had his hand on his chin like the Willy Wonka memes. You are lit in the chat. Let me turn this chat on and make sure we get it. All right, I'm gonna finish this one. I want to finish this one because I like what he went to the Pokemon. That's him.
whether it's crypto, if the public is investing based upon the efforts of others. and it's a
I find it
small
telling that
business,
you cannot cite a
that's
single
That's a
case,
security.
not a single. How about a Second Circuit case? Can you cite a single
Can
Second
you
Circuit
cite anything,
case
my boy?
that found an investment contract in the absence of a
I
contract?
understand where you're trying to go, and I'm going to leave that to the very fine attorneys at the SEC in front of courts. But I'm saying the core principle
Gensler,
is, this is a field.
This
that
is. Let me finish. Let me finish. This is a question to which you should know the answer.
Thank you.
Because the definition of an investment contract is the central issue. That's what determines the extent of your authority. That's what determines the applicability of federal securities law to crypto transactions.
Get him, Torres. I like
Your
Torres.
inability to answer that question is baffling to me.
I'm answering it consistent with what the Supreme Court has said, which is the law of the land is a 4-part test.
And yet you cannot cite a single case to support your argument.
Howie, it's called Reeves, it's called many cases at the Supreme Court, sir. 8 or 9 times it's been affirmed by the Supreme
Can I ask, suppose I were to purchase a Pokemon card, would doing so constitute a security transaction?
You could purchase a Pokemon card. I don't know what the context is, but if you're just purchasing a Pokemon card.
If I purchase a Pokemon card, is
at
that a security
retail store,
transaction?
that's not a security.
Okay. If I were to purchase a tokenized Pokemon card on a digital exchange via a blockchain, is that a security transaction?
I'd have to know more.
So,
Got 'em.
so for you, the process of tokenization.
Listen, this is how you know Gary Gensler is full of shit right now. People, again, all right, here's the deal. I've said this many times. Some of you might miss it, so I'll go through it really quick. Body language. I know a lot about body language and tails and stuff. Again, I did PR for military. You learn a lot of this stuff there. I did some studying on my own, vice versa, whatever, blah, blah. One of the things is called microaggressions, all right? A microaggression is essentially a person what they really feel is almost like a Freudian slip, Sigmund Freud, when you accidentally say something you didn't mean to say, but you're kind of thinking it subconsciously, they say. That is what a micro, whatever it is. I can't even think of the word I was using. But essentially what happens is the first, it's not even a full second, like a split second, usually people give tells of how they really feel about something before they start to speak. All right. Those tells could be a quick frown, quick smile, whatever. But if you are actually video someone and you pause it, you usually can pause every tell. And it takes a lot of training for a person not to show those tells or have them. Gary Gensler always has those tells. As soon as he's about to answer the question, if you look close, he actually starts to smirk because the dude literally just called out the whole gang scheme just now of all the BS of all these crypto tokens being securities. Gary Gensler he just calls them out and he kind of smirks and he's like, nah, whatever. But literally that was the tell right there. I'm going back. I want to see this. Look at him. Hold on. He keeps doing it. He keeps going back in and out of it. So there you go. We can't get a straight answer from Gary Gensler. Here's more of you all want to keep looking at it, but he is getting pummeled right now. And I guess whoever made that comment about BlackRock, I guess being backed by Uncle Sam is officially true because Uncle Sam said, "We're not going to take it." Hey, shout out to Uncle Sam, man. Y'all finally make me happy. That's the uncle I know. I don't know what he turned into the last however many years, but this is the Uncle Sam I know. All right, let's go. Share screen audio. Oh no, my fault. How long was I not sharing it? Just now? He only said the crypto part at the end. My fault. Let me put it back up there. Hey, listen, I'm over here getting excited, people. All right, you know I love this. I live this right now. Let me get to the replay. Hold on. I got it. I got you. Was it all the replay or just the last one? Was it just the last part of all of it? Oh man, I always mess this up. I hate it. I hate when I do this. Let me go to this last part. I just want to hear the Pokemon part. I'm not sure which part wasn't up. Let me know if you heard the last part of that one and it's just the Pokemon part you're missing, or was it all the videos? Let me see. All right. There it is. Go to this last part. It's a ton of
Thank you,
them.
Mr. Chair. Transaction.
Pokemon card. It's been affirmed by the.
Can I ask, suppose I were to purchase a Pokemon card, would doing so constitute a security transaction?
You could purchase a Pokemon card. I don't know what the context is, but if you're just purchasing a Pokemon card.
If I purchase a Pokemon card, is
at
that a security
retail
transaction?
store, that's not a security.
Okay. If I were to purchase a tokenized Pokemon card on a digital exchange via a blockchain, is that a security transaction?
I'd have to know more.
Okay. So for you, the process of tokenization is what transforms a non-security
said it.
transaction into a security transaction?
Look, if the investing
I thought you were
public-
technology neutral.
If the investing public is anticipating profits based upon the efforts of others and they're exchanging funds, that's the core.
I see my time has expired, so.
So yeah, as you can see there, he couldn't even answer if, well, he did. He said Pokemon cards are not securities, but he said, he asked him there, if you put them on the blockchain, are they still not securities? And then all of a sudden, that's where it gets gray at that quick. Basically, look, again, I would rather the United States government just come out and say the real. We a gang, just like every other gang out there. Russia got a gang in their government. China got a gang in their government. India got a gang in their government. I'm not saying we know better, no worse. I'm not saying on a high pedestal. I'm just saying, for people like me I just need you to be honest. We're a gang. You're going to give me your cut of everything, whether you want to or not, or you're going to have some problems, son. Just come out and say that instead of saying this might be a security, it's not a security, it's gray line. Just come out and say, I wish Gary Gensler would come out and say, it doesn't matter what it is. I want Gary Gensler to come out and be like, it doesn't matter if it's security or not. If you all have some fucking money, I'm coming to get it. That's all you need to know. You can secure the fact that I want your money. All right. Like, that's all we need to know. People are buying Pokemon for profit. He's full of it. Of course, especially nowadays, like Pokemon is definitely for profit now. But again, that's Gary Gensler. We spent a very long time on that story because, again, it is that important. Whoever is the SEC chairman and what direction they'll be going in will dictate this market. But again, I think he has one last show to put on to try to crush this market as low as he can. That will be our last Black Swan event. If that does happen, that will be it. But if it doesn't happen, the way it's looking is they're going to get him out of there. They're going to put a new chairman in there. Bitcoin ETFs will be passed. Short term, we should see some pumps from the fervor and excitement. But again, long term, I don't know, because who's to say those ETF companies don't actually buy any Bitcoin and instead just trade on essentially the perceived value of it and have people buying ETFs only. So who knows what the market will do after. But right now, yeah, it's about to be we still got a Black Swan event left, folks. We still have an event left. Gary Gensler is not going, like look at him. He's not going down swinging. He's not even answering a Bitcoin question. So that's enough of the SEC. Really quick, let's get over to the CFTC, because what they're doing is just as egregious as a Gary Gensler. But as I mentioned earlier, they're being a little bit smarter with their gang tactics. They're not being loud. They're doing what you're supposed to do as a gang. You pull off a lick and you go into hiding for a few weeks. You don't just all day, every day, lick after lick after lick. Like, what are you doing? For those who know what that means, it's like you do a crime, you get some money, you hide out. SEC is like, no, we ain't hiding out for shit. I'm going right back on the block wearing they shit, letting them know I took it. Right? Like CFTC is like, we took it, but we're not going to tell nobody. We're going to go hide it, like as you should. So, new U.S. bill to require firms to report off-chain transactions to CFTC. Really quick, the entire reason for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, again, stated in the first line of the Bitcoin white paper, was, and is supposed to be a purely peer-to-peer cryptocurrency. It's a way to transact from peer to peer. You are not supposed to need anything or anybody else. And if you have anything or anybody else, like an exchange, this only enhances that ability to actually transact from peer to peer. So for them to say, hey, if you're doing any, because that's what they're essentially saying, if there's any peer-to-peer transactions going on, any transactions not going on through an exchange, essentially anywhere where we can track it, it is now illegal, or we want it to be illegal according to the CFTC. So again, this is now where we're getting into, and this is why I didn't want no regulation. This is why no regulation is important, only self-regulation, no formal regulation, because again, the government is on this 50, 100-year plan. They're just trying to bite away and chip away as much power, as much as pieces of the industry as they can until they essentially control the whole thing outright. And one of the ways they can do that is saying, hey, if you have unhosted wallets, that's illegal, right? When in reality, when crypto and Bitcoin started, like that unhosted, all you had was your own wallet. There was no custodial wallet. There were no exchanges to get a wallet from. And when it were exchanges to where you could actually place your wallets, they all failed you. The first exchanges we're talking about, I can't even think of the name. The one that still hasn't refunded everybody right now. What's the main exchange that got hacked first? I can't even think of the name right now off the top of my head. You all know. I know you're gonna say it in the comments for me right now. What's one of the first main exchanges hacked? I can't think of the name. I'll get in a second. But the point is, the first exchange that came out was hacked. Hey, those are the custodial wallets. And exchanges, Mt. Gox, thank you. Mt. Gox was the first exchange and it was hacked. But the government wants you to believe that you shouldn't have your own wallets. You should only have centralized custodial wallets. They're trying to make that illegal. Now they're saying, hey, we're going to make this peer-to-peer. Anything happening off-chain, we're going to make that illegal. You can only come on-chain. You can only go through centralized processors for this to be a real transaction. Slippery slope, barriers to entry, trying to keep people out, trying to control. Like, this is what they're doing. And again, it's a multi-pronged approach, because right now, while I'm saying, yeah, Uncle Sam, go get them and all this other stuff, you're doing what you need to do about the Gary Gensler and SEC situation, blah, blah, blah. The whole time the government's like, yeah, whatever. Hey, CFTC, get your asses in there and do what y'all do next. CFTC, as soon as you're done, IRS, get in there and do what y'all do next. When y'all done, I don't know, they're not going to stop sending them. This is how it works. We're not going to stop sending them until we got it. All right. And the only way for crypto to hold out is going to have to be like the Middle East. There's going to be no concessions, no fair ones, no rules. Fighting to the very last person, child, woman involved as well. It has to be like that because, again, they're coming from every direction trying to get more power and essentially steal the narrative. Like, literally, again, when we're talking about this CFTC thing, this is not even like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general was made to have off-chain transactions. It was made to have off-chain transactions. Now you're saying that if you do it, it's essentially going to be illegal. The new legislation aims to protect. Here we go. Aims to protect. Y'all know that buzzword. Every time, hey, listen. I hear this is a bad neighborhood. Hey, there you go. Let me go ahead. Hey, Beto, come here. I want to talk to him. I hear this is a bad neighborhood. You might need some help and protection. Talk to me about it. All right. They're here to protect us. We get it. We understand what protection means. All right. So the U.S. government says, hey, we're here to protect crypto investors from disputes, manipulation, or fraud potentially stemming from transactions occurring off-chain. A new bill in the U.S. aims to require cryptocurrency service providers to report all blockchain transactions to a government repository. Can't say that word right now. Need some water. On September 28th, U.S. Rep. Don Bayer introduced the Off-Chain Digital Commodity Transaction Reporting Act. Oh, my goodness. Requiring trading platforms to report all transactions to a repository registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. The new legislation aims to protect cryptocurrency investors, again, from disputes, manipulation, or fraud potentially stemming from transactions occurring off-chain or transactions that take place beyond the blockchain network. Unlike on-chain transactions, off-chain crypto transactions are not instantly logged on a blockchain, but are processed through secondary layers, thus creating some difficulties in being tracked. Again, it's all about tracking it. With the emergence of trading platforms and the desire to increase transaction times and lower costs, thousands of transactions occur off-chain and are unrecorded on the publicly viewable blockchain, the announcement notes. Sounds like a skill issue because you don't know how and where to find the information. You want to create a tax-paying law that's being footed, a law created and footed by taxpayer money in order to force everyone who didn't ask for this to now do extra work so that the U.S. government's happy. It's going to cost more money. It's going to cost more time. It's going to cost, there's a reason why there are off-chain transactions to begin with. Unfortunately, internal record keeping among these private entities can vary wildly, and this can leave investors and consumers vulnerable to fraud and manipulation. Bayer wrote, adding, quote, "This bill is a common sense measure to restore some transparency and confidence to the digital asset market," unquote. I wanted more transparency and confidence. Asked the government to be transparent about banks, transparent about the Federal Reserve and the printing of money, transparent about the money we just sent to motherfucking Ukraine that I hear now is funding small businesses and local whatever. Who cares? God damn it. We need to fund that here. Like, that's the transparency American taxpayers want. We don't want or need or even ask for you to tell us what's happening with different exchanges and who's being on chain and off chain. If you actually pay attention to the project, you have an idea about all these numbers already. Okay. Like, we know how much Bitcoin has been created. We know there's about 2 million that's been missing or forever will never be found. Like, you do the math. You don't need them to do all of this. This this is for noobs. This is a skill issue. This is for people who don't know the left from the right, i.e. the American government, and they want answers. And they want it now, and they want the private companies to play by their rules no matter what. And since the private companies aren't playing by their rules, they're asking all the sheep to gather together and to give them some more money and to give them their blessing for the government to go after these private companies that have done nothing wrong, just so that they can get an edge in the crypto market. That's essentially what's happening right here. It is what it is. Shout out to 5252crypto.com. Appreciate the tip. What up, though? Thank you for this. What you and the team do. We the real MVPs. Much appreciated. Yes, sir. Shout out to all the different folks that have channels, shows here on the channel. They've been kicking ass lately, keeping us entertained in these dark crypto days. So yeah, make sure you're checking out all the different shows. I mean, there's a variety at this point. Robert said, Uncle Sam, going to send Fat Tony from the IRS and Benny Two Fingers from the SEC to protect investors. Exactly. That's all I'm saying. Now, you guys don't look like you work for the government. Let's just say it's a special division. It's the protection division. We're here for you, but the questions don't matter. According to the bill, crypto service providers will be required to report all off-chain transactions within 24 hours to a CFTC registered trade repository. The announcement notes that requirements are similar to the rules for virtually all securities and swap transactions, but this ain't that, and y'all mad. Listen, here's the reason why they're doing it. They're tired of finding out the likes of MicroStrategy and their Bitcoin buys after it happens. Those news articles we see where it's just like, oh, in the last 3 months, MicroStrategy has acquired another 150 Bitcoin or whatever, right? For however many $1 million or whatever. Like, the government is tired of seeing those headlines, and they're scratching their heads like, how the F didn't we know MicroStrategy bought this much more? They're becoming powerful. We have to stop MicroStrategy. We got to stop Elon Musk and his Dogecoin. We got to stop Mark Cuban and his Dogecoin. We got to stop whatever other billionaire, millionaire out there who's backing whatever shit project or scam. We have to stop this. And the only, well, I won't say only, one of the ways we can stop it is for them. We make them report any off-chain transaction to us within 24 hours, or we send them to prison. You know the deal. We pluck them out the streets, we kidnap them, we enslave them, or you tell us who you've been selling that Bitcoin and crypto to on the back end. We cannot find out about this 3 weeks later anymore. It's changing the price metrics. It's changing the market. It's destroying what the gang's trying to do. So that's essentially what's happening here. They want to know it for the MicroStrategies of the world, but it will trickle down after. You got to remember, that's the right now. after they capture the MicroStrategies, Elon Musk, and they get a hold on them, that's when they go to the, all right, who are the regular millionaires? Who are the 100,000aires? Who are the people who can barely afford to pay rent but still dabble in crypto? Oh, they're going to come from everybody. So this is their top-down approach. First part is exchanges is figure out how this money is being moved on the back end, and then they'll figure it out once it comes down to the individual level as well. PFC Wills, I was looking for your comment. Track follows all this type of capital flight movement, so I definitely couldn't wait to see what he was going to say. They are using regulatory bully tactics to condition people to not use this technology to its fullest capabilities. Exactly. Don't use your own wallet. Don't use peer-to-peer transactions. Don't do anything off-chain, even if it will benefit you. No. To go through the regulatory process, which we know from looking at the traditional process, will take time and even more money. But hey, why would we want to do anything good for us when they're trying to protect us? These are protection measures, all right? Maybe they cost time and money, but they're here to protect you. All right. Oh, man. Speaking of protection and stuff, Bitcoin Ben did a little stint in the clinker. Ben Armstrong charges revealed, could face fines or prison if convicted. I guess he got into it the other day. I don't keep up with it, but I know a lot of you do. So I said, whatever. I'll mention the article I saw that he was arrested the other day over a Lamborghini or something dispute. People are saying he's on drugs. His own team's turned against him. His mutiny abroad, so on and so forth. It's all type of madness happening. Listen, this is what happens when it's a bunch of BS going on to begin with. It like really quick. I really don't trip over the Bitcoin Bens and all these other people of the world who keep popping up. Folks, it's happened since we started in 2017. How many have come and gone? There's a reason why they do not know what they're talking about. I don't know how they get the masses. I don't know how the business, I don't care. I don't watch these people. I don't know. Honestly, I do know. It's idiocracy right now. The masses aren't there's more dumb people having babies than smart people, like straight up. It's been like that for the last 30 years. So I won't even act like I don't know. I know exactly how it's happened. There's more dumb people than smart people. So it is what it is. I'm not mad. But again, this is another shining example of of the madness of the crypto space. I'll say that. This is another shining example of the madness of the crypto space. At this rate, I mean, just what I know of how these things work. Again, I don't know Bitcoin Ben. I haven't watched this stuff, so it's nothing positive or negative. To me, on the outside, it looks like marketing techniques, and it also looks like my man got probably another year and a half left in the sun before he's like the has-been of like, oh yeah. But the question is, who do they move on to next, right? Who do they move on to next? I can't wait to see who the next one is and which next Pepe coin will be the thing to beat Bitcoin and everything else in between. I mean, listen, the show goes on and on and on. You have to love it. I certainly do. But again, crypto influencer Ben Bitcoin Armstrong was released on bail around 8 hours after being booked by Gwinnett County Police for a loitering and simple assault. It sounds like it was some BS for sure. But again, Bitboy spent his night in Slammers, hit with 2 charges following his, I don't even know, it's conspicuous arrest. I can't even say this word. I can never say this word. Conspicuous arrest. There it is. Conspicuous arrest. Armstrong, who's taken into custody on September while live streaming outside a former associate's house, spent a little over 8 hours in a cell, according to the Gwinnett County, Georgia Sheriff's Office. You in Georgia too? Listen, man, I don't know exactly what's going on. You all feel me on in the comments. But one thing I do know is look, it was already some madness in Barbados or the Bahamas, but now you're pulling up in Georgia to people's houses. Look, you are picking and choosing the right people, Bitcoin Ben or Bitboy. What? Man, you pulling up to people's houses waiting outside. Hey, I'm going to open the door and tell you don't come in, but the door going to be left wide open. What are you talking about? This is Georgia. This is Georgia. Oh, man. The crypto influencer has been released on but has been hit with charges of loitering and prowling and simple assault by placing another in fear with a bond of amount of $2,600 along with $40 in fees. Now, Bitcoin Ben got some papers, so with a lawyer, I mean, literally, he shouldn't have to do anything. If he might have to do some of that anger management worst case scenario, if the other guy can kind of prove that this has been going on. But by and large, these are like small offenses. Any good lawyer can get these dropped for you, so it shouldn't be a big issue. Let's see. In Georgia, oh yeah, I'm not gonna go over these defense or what it actually is. We know a lawyer is. You're hanging around somebody's house where you ain't supposed to be. And again, the assault part, I'm assuming he must have said something to the person. That's how you get assault, essentially telling them, hey, I'm gonna kick your ass, wherever. That's an assault, essentially. And here's Ben. Actually, he went on X and already made a thread. This is the hardest tweet I ever had to make. I need to make a confession I never imagined I would admit. I'm not even really sure if I have the courage to say it, but I'm going to do my best. Here it goes. My name is Ben, and I'm a loiterer. I did 8 whole hours in the slammer. And then he posted later, he's taking a week break from social media before adding, no, not because of his memes. And here is his mugshot. And again, I go back to this. This is the person the majority of the crypto space has been taking their advice from. My man's got a mugshot. This is him. That's all. Like, this incredible. I have to ask the question again. Because I kept asking it for Sam Beckman-Fried. I'll ask it for Bitboy too. I do not understand where these people come from to begin with and how they get so much volume so quickly. I truly don't. Outside of, unless the only thing I would say, one thing I would say it could be is the marketing. If you are spending those marketing dollars on Google, Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth, TikTok, then it does come back. So that will be the only thing. But with that being said, they both, like from when they jumped off the porch, they had to start off with at least 100. I would say 75K of marketing, at least, if not 100 to 150K to start the way they came on the scene. So again, this is the guy. This is the guy who the crypto market's been listening to. You got to love it. I do. I love it. Bitcoin Chris, what up, though? Long time no see. How are you?
What's poppin'? I'm just driving back to the crib, enjoying my Friday. Man, Bitboy got me crying over this week, bro. I'm in tears watching this man
Put me in the loop. I haven't been paying attention. I've been gone. I was in the desert all week, so I don't know what's happening. What's happening with Bitboy? Like, what's the deal here?
Man, I don't know, bro. I mean, I guess I guess you can call it karma, or you reap what you sow, right? He's been leading everybody down the shitcoin path, right? Everybody's been getting rugged, and I think it's just him finally getting his payback. He's been cheating on his wife, doing.
Oh, I didn't know that. What? Wait, what?
Yeah, bro, you didn't know that?
No, man, I'm being listen.
And I'm not.
Yeah, I know. In the interest of keeping the people on the internet entertained, it is what it is. Listen,
hey, it is what it is.
I feel like this. Listen, if it becomes public, then it's public. If you cheating, for one, if you're a real player, you ain't even cheating. All right, let's put that out there. All right, if you're gonna be a player, be a real player. It ain't cheating. Y'all need to have a conversation. But all right, let's say you messy and you decide to cheat, and it becomes public. Hey, Billy Boy, Bill Clinton, we're gonna ask that question, my man. What happened back there?
Oh yeah, I don't know, man. If you seen his wife, bro, I guess
I haven't.
Why.
Okay, all right. So go ahead.
All right, so I guess that would explain why. I guess it is what it is. But he cheated on his wife, right? Then he went. This is what he gets, right? He got arrested because he pulled up on, that dude that took his Lambo. But you remember he pulled up on SBF in the Bahamas. He lucky nothing happened to him out there, right? So. Right? Not probably as bad or as worse as it could have been, but stop pulling up on people, bro. Like, you asking for trouble, bro, and this is exactly what you get. Even though he didn't get like a crazy charge or anything, but
you're right. You're right. Like you said, he's lucky nothing seriously happened to him. But you're right. Something finally did happen this time. It's like, and now people are saying, I guess he had his mistress in the car with him. What's even worse is like, again, mistress or not, why do you have another human in the car with you when you're on your version of demon time? Like, you pulling up to somebody's house in Georgia with what was about to be an innocent victim with you. Like, why would you do this? This is madness to me. I don't know what's wrong with the guy, what he has going on, but like, that's something I wouldn't do. I'm not pulling up to confront another grown male with anyone I care about with me. Like, that could probably go really sideways. So I get what you're saying. It finally did happen. But luckily, it didn't happen in something. The police were there to solve this before it got ugly.
So this man goes on camera with his wife and confesses that he was cheating and he was on steroids and doing all this stuff. And then fast forward to this little event. He over, but the cops on him. He's on live stream. Who's in your car? And he was shook, bro. So he's cheating on his wife again. He's with the girl he was cheating on his wife again, right? At these people's house, and then he's trying not to answer because he's on live stream and everybody's watching him, right, on YouTube like an idiot. And he's like, but he don't know his rights, right? Because you have the right to remain silent. So he didn't have to answer the cops, but he was shook and he was like, "Oh man, I'm in the girl I had an affair with my wife is in the car." I'm like, this guy is a fucking idiot, bro. He is just doing all the wrong moves, bro. And I think it's just everything that he's been doing wrong. And it's only so much that you can do wrong before you actually get what you deserve.
Yeah, that's what somebody tweeted here. Bitboy being arrested should be a lesson for everyone. If you scam, karma will get you. If not now, then someday, but for sure. Money gives you power, but uncontrolled power turns you insane. Take care of your mental health. The world is waiting for you to break down. People, I can tell you for a fact, like I'm sure some of you have saw this. It's an old I don't know if it's a study or just someone's thought process, but somebody put out there before was like, hey, like basically the difference of happiness with a couple $100,000 and $1 million or whatever isn't that much of a difference. People, I can pretty much tell you, like, once you got everything in order and you don't owe anybody, like outside of your mansion, if you want it, or your dream car, there ain't much else to spend shit on. Like, it's not really much else you ever like. Would you want a super yacht too? Like what? Like who really wants a super yacht to maintain and take care of? You can rent yachts now. Like traveling is easy to do. Like you don't need that much money. So the people who are like Ben, that's like just going crazy with something to think 10,000% every day is like, bro, calm down. It's not even that. It's like, what are y'all gonna do with all this money once you get it? You're gonna buy 1 million houses in a million. Get more money to help other people. If anything, that's the American way. Good gracious.
People getting money for the wrong reasons and spending money on dumb shit, So instead of, because I've seen that a lot, even with, people that win the lottery, bro, they're not financially literate, which is why, I have my business that I have. Because once you get this money and you don't know how money works and you start buying a whole bunch of dumb shit, right? And depreciating liabilities, right? Like cars and houses, unless you get, a rental property, that makes sense, right? But a lot of people just buy stupid stuff. They go buy, they go to the strip club. They just buy stuff that depletes their money. Not to mention that, inflation is going to already take a percentage of that. So you're supposed to be investing already, but most people don't do that, right? So, it's financial literacy at the end of the day, bro. And, a lot of us just want to get money because we're struggling. But once we get that money, we don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. That was a funny one. People were talking about that. Okay, so they said Carlos had his Lambo. Okay. Oh, the Lambo was in the company name. Oh, this guy messy. How does Stan? Y'all crazy. Stan said, how did his ops get his Lambo? Exactly. That's the real Stan. I like Stan. That's what I'm thinking about. So somebody had your car. And wait, you taking? And then another one. Somebody said he taking out. Trap Zero said all those steroids, and he has a body like that. And Reno Gamble co-signed the steroids part. That's pretty funny. Yeah, how you on steroids? Yo, they taking your Lambo from your own company. What? It's okay. So, Bitboy, I commend you for pulling up. Next time, don't pull up with a girl. Don't live stream because that's some police activity. If you're gonna pull up about your Lambo, go get it. It's Georgia. Go get your Lambo, or call the police and have them do it since you're so rich and don't worry about this. But wow, this is crazy. What else you got for us, Bitcoin Chris?
Hey, I've just been chilling. What do you think about the price action? And do you think we're still going to see 20? I see a lot of bears, right? And Bitcoin loves to do the opposite of what everybody on Twitter talks about, right? Because first we had everybody, including Wendy O and Richard Hart and Gareth Halloway or Galloway, I don't know his damn last name. Everybody said 10K, right? Never happened. So right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 20K. I would actually be excited because I want to stack more Bitcoin cheaper. Do you think we're going to hit 20K? Or do you think we're just going to stay around this 25 to 27K and then go higher? That's my opinion.
Yeah, so like I said, unless we have a black swan event, which I do think is possible, it's still a lot of time before the happening. I think, especially coming out next year, we might see some crazy things happen right after Martin Luther King Day. When government comes back, they know the happening's coming too. They know the ETF stuff. Like, we might see a curveball. But I think, again, that's the only way. I think at this point, that's becoming, every day is becoming harder and harder for it to go down. Because, I mean, come holiday, like, we're already holiday season. November, Thanksgiving, we get a dip before Thanksgiving usually. Worst case scenario, I think that dip's going to bring us to 24, 23, 25, 23, 25. But rather that, it's like the day of Thanksgiving, I believe, or the right day right after. There's usually a nice pump. And then same thing, first couple of weeks into December, there's a pump. It goes down a little bit toward Christmas. And then we get New Year's pump, whatever, for Bitcoin birthday and everything. So it's one of those things where it's like, and then you get the halvening. So it's just like, woo. Not to say, but I'm with you. The market does do the opposite. So I'm not saying it couldn't happen. Like the market definitely does the opposite. And like we're talking happening, supply and demand, everything should go up. Or in reality, right after the happening, the government could do something, these private companies could do something, and Bitcoin really drops down. So it's not like it's especially, let me not forget, government shutdowns coming up.
That's what
Depending on how long the government shutdown lasts. And also the rates are crazy right now. All types of things. I mean, housing, gas in California is officially $7. So what will the world look like in January as well? And if it's looking bad, people are pulling out of crypto as well because they're going to need that. They don't need to be liquid for money right now. So with all that being said, yeah, to me, it has to be almost a black swan event. If we don't get that, I think we're going to go sideways, and then start to slow boom back up. So we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Besides that, man, just want to hop on, say happy Friday, man. And, keep doing your thug thizzle. I know Bitcoin Day hasn't been on, so shout out to you to continue to, strive and make content every day. I know you aren't by yourself, but thank you for, showing up and making
Oh,
these
yeah. We outside. Only days I miss is if I'm doing the Hollywood shuffle. Other than that, I try to make sure I'm here. So for sure, man. Take care of Bitcoin, Chris, and I'll holler back at you.
Yes, sir. Take care. God bless. Peace.
Later. God bless. Yes, sir. All right, and last but not least, I mean, that saga is crazy. I can't wait for the movie. Bitboy has officially made the Bitcoin movie. Last but not least, I told y'all, I tried to tell you, listen, this metaverse shit, this Oculus shit is happening. The metaverse is real. Zuck's incredible photorealistic tech wows crypto Twitter. Often roasted for his metaverse tech demos, Zuckerberg appears to have blown away internet users with his latest avatar tech. Really quick, I'm not sure what's out or whatever, so correct me in the comments if you need to. Whatever the newest Oculus that's about to come out is not out yet. The newest one that's about to come out, or did it already just come out? Is the Quest 2? Let me see. Quest 2. Are these out already? I don't know. Is it Quest 2s or 3s? Let me see. No, it is not the 2 actually, because it's not the 2. So maybe it's a 3. Let me see. Quest 3. Okay, it's a Quest 3. Are these out? I think they're out already. Let me see. Meta Quest 3 release date October 10th. All right. So no, October 10th is when they come out. So I've already used the Quest 3s. Wow, people, the Oculus Quest 3s is happening slowly, but it's happening. Some of you saw my Instagram, my personal account the other day. There was I was in Orange County at a library, and they had like a robot. It's like a little robot lawnmower, but it wasn't mowing the lawn. I think it was like either getting leaves up or so. I don't know what it was doing, and it wasn't even going in straight lines. It was doing its own thing, going different parts of this huge grassy courtyard area. And I essentially put out an Instagram post. I was like, it's happening slowly, but like it's happening. Where I live in LA and Orange County, like in my neighborhood, I have the Coco robot. We're not even doing Uber Eats and DoorDash no more. We're using Coco. So it's literally a robot that does it all. We're starting to have robots that do more of everything. It is happening. I've used the Oculus Quest 3s already for this new video game that's coming out. I'm pretty sure I can talk about it right now, I guess. So Aspire 2, for anybody who's played that game on the Oculus Quest, essentially it's like a shooting game, Metal Gear Solid, James Bond, spy type, but you can pick up guns, you can do all this, and it's a VR game, and it turns whatever room you're in. So like literally right now in this big living room I'm in, wherever, I turn you scan the room on the Oculus, and it turns your room into a video game. So like this window, for example, could turn into a door that robots or people will run. Like it was actual people, whatever. So like the bad guys will run through the door. Like your wall will turn into the door. Your ceiling will turn into like a window where they can rappel in. And literally you're using the objects in your room. And then new objects also pop up. Like they have boxes pop up in AR. But literally you now have guns. You can run around your apartments or your house, and it is VR, and it works, and it's good. People, I'm telling you, when I tell you I was excited, I couldn't believe I was getting paid to do this. I literally got paid to do this for 10 hours the other day. The most fun I've had in a long time. It's here, though. It's here, and it's coming. So you talk about having that type of power and technology and then using it for, hey, maybe you want to go see you have to meet with your bank. Maybe you have classes. Like, it is happening. It's going to happen, people. If you don't think it's happening, I'm telling you now, like, wrong bet. The only question I have is when it's going to happen. Will it be in my lifetime or will it be in the next lifetime? Because while it should be happening at a fast rate, you have to remember a lot of people don't want to see this new tech at all. So they are slowing it down. But as far as the tech being there in the building, like the bet on Meta, he might continue to keep losing money, and he might not be the person who figured it out. Again, it might be Meta versus Mark Zuckerberg. Meta throws all this money at it, try to figure out, and it doesn't happen for another 15 or 20 years when Apple or Microsoft or some other new company picks up where they left off, right? Where they went broke at type of deal. But bottom line is that shit's coming, people. Them Quest 3s are real. This is not a commercial for it, but it's like the technology is absolutely amazing. And really quick, wanted to share this technology. It looks like appearing on September 28th episode of the Lex Fridman podcast, Zuckerberg and the popular computer scientists engaged in a 1 hour face-to-face conversation. Only it wasn't actually in person at all. Instead, the entirety of Fridman and Zuckerberg's conversation used photorealistic avatars in the metaverse to sit through Meta's Quest 3 headsets and noise-canceling headphones. And here is what it actually looks like. And again, this is not them; this is their avatars.
Is going to be one of the things that we're going to need to figure out. It's like, to what extent do you want to give people control over that? Some people might try to, might prefer a version of themselves that's more emotive in their avatar than
Demolition Day, people. Who remembers the sex scene in Demolition Day? Was it Demolition Day? Demolition Day. I'm typing Demolition Day sex scene. I think it was Demolition Day. Oh man, that took me to Pornhub. I'm talking about the movie. VR. Let me put VR sex scene movie. It tried to take me to Pornhub. That's hilarious. There we go. It took me to Demolition Man now. I almost started crying, people. It took me trying to take me to Pornhub. I'm about to cry. All right, let me share this screen with you all real quick. What? Did they do a Pornhub of the movie? What is wrong with humans, man? I don't get it. I really don't. I'm about to skip through. So, for those who don't saw, 1993, Demolition Man, one of my favorite movies, actually. Sylvester Stallone, and of course, Wesley Snipes. It was supposed to be a futuristic movie. He meets a girl, guy meets girl, girl meets guy. They're about to have sex, and here we go. We're going to show how they have sex in the future, which is what I also think is coming here pretty soon. Hold on, let me.
Of neurological arousal.
Yeah, just play it again. Let me stop.
Everything is voice coded, so if you need something, just ask. Lights.
Really quick, I've been looking at new apartments here in LA, the fancy ones. They are all voice and oh man, I walk in, your Apple phone connects to everything. They smell you. Is that Kenny walking in? Oh, let me play that music. Listen, it is some apartments out here that are, when it comes to tech, like it's literally like this. You walk in, lights, you go, your window screen opens and closes, all types of stuff.
What do you think? Clicked off a lot of credits to create the perfect 20th century apartment.
Well, Huxley, it's very...
Isn't it? John Spartan? There is, of course, a well-known and documented...
I forgot. I can only do a few seconds at a time, or they will actually, they will flag me, which might already happen, so we'll see.
...effect, but General, after having observed your behavior...
Here we go.
I was wondering if you would like to have sex.
There we go. So she asked him to have sex. He's like, hell yeah, say less. All right, I'm going to fast forward because I forgot I can't play it. She like, let me set the mood. She closing window blinds. He like, do I need to do push-ups? I don't know. And then she tells him just go sit down. He's like, cool, whatever. He goes sit down. He's like, let's do it. Try to get a little comfy. I feel you, dog. I know how it is. Love boat. All right, whatever. I don't care. Throw some music on. Oh, they about to tag me. I got music in the background too. You know how YouTube is. All right, so she brings something out the closet. He like, oh, you got toys. He like, all right, we about to get nasty. He didn't expect that. Look at that little face. If you zoom in, you see a little smirk right there. Hold on, let me zoom in for you. See that little smirk? He said, oh, you got some little toys? All right, baby. He said, all right, my baby, that ain't nothing to a real player. I whatever. Nope, gotcha. Oculus Quest is 4s. Oculus Quest is 23s. The year is 2050. Oculus Quest has their version 19 out. This is the Oculus Quest 19. Let's get ready to party.
Just relax.
Just relax, my boy.
Begin in a few seconds.
We about to start. Begin what?
Having sex, of course.
What you mean? We about to have sex, my boy. Here we go. Let's get into it. He like, whoa, what's happening here? Let's go ahead. All right, let me. What? Here we go. Fast forward and see what happens. Hey, what the hell is going on? What? Yeah, he ain't like that. Whoa. You remember? So for those who don't know, he was frozen in the past, and then they I should have mentioned that. He just came to this future. He was frozen, and then they unfroze him in the future.
Contact, I didn't touch you yet.
There we go.
What's wrong? He broke contact.
Contact, I didn't touch you yet.
But I thought you wanted to make love.
Is that what you call this?
Sex has been proven to produce higher orders of alpha waves during digitized transference of sexual energy.
All right, Oxley, what do you say we just do it the old-fashioned way?
Ew, disgusting. You mean fluid transfer?
I mean, boning.
All right, so that's it. I probably already got flagged, but by and large, this is what I'm saying. You think, especially like along the likes of the weirdness of Mark Zuckerberg, you already got AI looking like this. You can throw this headset on, be in the metaverse, go on a date. Look, honestly, if you're in the military, you talking about seeing your wife and kids and being in the same room with them and playing games with them and doing like this is the answer for it while you're deployed. Like this is going to happen, I think. So again,
than their actual faces. So for example,
the Oculus Quest 3s are on the market coming up. And while I don't think those are the end all be all, I wouldn't even suggest buying it, honestly, because I think the 4s are going to be out before you know it and you'll feel like you wasted your money. I do think this is going to be the future. This is what he has his avatars looking like. Now imagine them in the metaverse with a headset on and you being able to walk around, especially if you can actually scan your room and enter Decentraland and actually walk around your room and be in different parts of Decentraland and actually be able to walk like this. Like with this type of technology, it's going to be crazy. So again, super beta. Who knows if you can even scale this the proper way, what it will look like, trying to scale it, so on and so forth. But again, I'm a technologist at the end of the day. People, I told you, like, this is what attracted me and it attracts me to Bitcoin and crypto. I don't wake up every day to do this show because, the prices of Bitcoin and money. Like, no. I like the technology is super cool. And I think this is our future. I hope we can build on it. So with that being said, make sure you smash that like and share for the real technologists out there, for the real people who like Bitcoin and some of the better crypto projects out there. Smash that like and share. And again, I will see you all next week with some more news and I'm sure some interesting stories in cryptocurrency.